Okay, so let's talk materials now. Materials, I think the most important thing to start off with is making sure you're using a high quality isopropyl alcohol. You're going to be using alcohol to not only mix and paint with, you're also going to use it for your cleanup as well. There's going to be lots of isopropyl alcohol used. Now, I use in my practice 99%. You can use anything 90 and up, I recommend, but I highly recommend using a 99% if you can find it. That's what I use exclusively in my practice. Now, understanding the percentages of what 99 means when it comes to isopropyl alcohol is very important. If you see something that is 70 to 30 or 70% isopropyl alcohol, that means there's 70% isopropyl alcohol and there's 30% water in it. Now, the thing that comes along with water is you've got minerals, you've got sedatives, depending on where you get your water from. There's going to be different kinds of sedatives, and that is going to mix in with your painting. And I've noticed what ends up happening with the 70 range or anything under 90% is I end up getting like these little sediments left behind after the isopropyl alcohol evaporates, because that's basically what happens is we mix our colors, our alcohol inks in with isopropyl alcohol. It all mixes together and then the alcohol evaporates, and what you're left behind is a beautiful looking stain of color. So you want to make sure that when that evaporation happens, you're not having a ton of sediments left behind. Also, the isopropyl alcohol, depending on if, like I said, if it's watered down too much, it'll end up watering down and just, in my opinion, muddying your colors to begin with. Alcohol inks are vibrant and they're beautiful, strong colors, and the more you kind of mess with their composition, they're not going to look as nice. So I highly recommend making sure that you use high quality alcohol inks, and you also use a high quality isopropyl alcohol to mix with it. So when it comes to alcohol inks, I like to use I use a range of them. I just love color, and I noticed that there's the Jim Holtz Ranger series I absolutely adore, and it comes in like so many different colors. There's also the Panada. I use this a lot. I love Panada. I especially love Panada's metallics. There's a little ball in here and you've got to really shake it. But their metallics, I find, really work well on a surface. I think that it is probably, in my opinion, the gold standard out of all the alcohol inks that are out there for the metallics. Another thing that you'll use a lot is blending solution. Well, I don't use it a ton. I'll give you a little recipe that it can be quite expensive, so I'll give you a little recipe that you can kind of make your own. It's basically glycerin and your alcohol. So yeah, it has its own use. It will extend the life of your alcohol inks, allowing you to mix more with them. It allows, what it is blending, so that allows you to kind of move in the alcohol without lessening the potency of the alcohol out of the actual ink color. Whereas if you're using isopropyl alcohol, which I probably use a lot more, I don't use blending solution very much, but when I do, if I've made a mistake on something and I don't want to put a dab of rubbing alcohol on it, because what that will do is it will pretty much erase that spot. The rubbing alcohol, the moment it drops on, it pushes color away, whereas in the glycerin won't do that. So keep that in mind when you're experimenting and working in the future. I can show you different ways around that as well in the way that I use it, and I'll show you during the techniques of how I use rubbing alcohol to make corrections and things like that. And I'll also teach you how to use blending solution, and I'll show you the difference. But yeah, so make sure, I also use Copic Copic inks are amazing. They're really difficult to get in places like Canada, but they're very, very easy to get in the States. So you can order these from like Blick or something. So yeah, that's generally what I use when it comes to isopropyl alcohol and it comes to inks. Now the next thing I'm going to teach you about is tools.